Good afternoon, everyone. It is Monday, it is afternoon, and that means that it's time for our weekly Monday morning update. I'm Jennifer Tim with the Welcome Home Global Group, and I'm so honored to bring you this information. I am a real estate planner, and as a real estate planner, my goal is to help you grow, protect, and transfer your wealth through real estate. So let's get started with today's presentation. Okay, so it is June 12th. We are into summer. Lots of activities going on. Our California weather is still trying to decide whether we're staying in June gloom or whether we want to actually have some enjoyable days. The sun was out earlier, so we have to be grateful for those couple of moments. So, is the sun shining on our real estate market? Well, the question that I've been asked recently is, why are home prices going up? You know, we hear in the media, the interest rates are up and demand is down, and this is just crazy. So why are home prices going up? Because we've definitely determined that they are. So let's start up by looking at nationally. So this is an interesting slide. There is a group, the THEM report, so the M report, that does a study, and they have a look at home appreciation based on the local grocery stores that are in the area. So if you have an Aldi store, and I know Aldi isn't as widespread in Southern California as it is in other states, Trader Joe's, we certainly know Trader Joe's, it's kind of like Starbucks, and Whole Foods. I know I have to travel a little further to get to Whole Foods, but Trader Joe's, I have a choice of a couple of Trader Joe's pretty close. And what they have found, they basically average home values, if you have a home that's closer to a Trader Joe's, that tends to mean that you have a higher value home. So just a fun way of looking at appreciation. But that truly goes to lifestyle. When folks look at buying a home, they're going to consider lifestyle. And I know that we're very particular about where we purchase our groceries for our family. And we're very grateful to have a Trader Joe's. We have a Sprouts close by. So we're really looking for healthier options for our family. So I'm very grateful that we are close enough to healthy options. And that does show in the type of areas that we're living in. All right. Home prices. Now, again, these are national numbers. So the percentages that you're seeing may not be representative of exactly where you live in your neighborhood, but this is a national figure. And every single one of the major groups that's tracking this are starting to report that, yes, home prices are definitely on the rise again. So we started our January definitely normal, where we saw a drop in prices. And despite the interest rates that have gone up to the sevens and kind of fluctuated, and we've talked about that, that we are seeing home prices increasing. So for sellers, that is great news. For buyers, the way you look at that is, if you're ready to buy, don't wait, because we're starting to see that the home prices are trending higher and higher. So if you need to buy during summer, the sooner you start that process, the better it's going to be. Sellers, this is just a great time to sell your home, because we know that you're going to get a higher price than what you could have got a couple of months ago. Another way of looking at this is a great report from Altos Research. Today's active listings are priced where they were a year ago. So we did see that dip. So now remember that this time last year was when the first of those the mortgage interest rate increases started hitting our buyer community. And so that did definitely lead to lowering of prices in certain areas. So this is the national picture again, because wouldn't it be nice if our average prices were $450,000 in Southern California, if you're a buyer, of course, not if you're a seller. Anyway, But that just gives you an idea of where we are based on a year ago. Now, also keep in mind that you're going to start seeing some you start seeing a decline anyway in the number of listings because we're kind of reaching our peak. So we're going to have a look and see how that's going to impact the active listing prices as well. Looking at in comparison to other years, so 436,000 is where we were, and these are weeks of the year. You can see we've kind of just, that the number of properties on the market, that declining inventory is really just a trend that's continuing. I mean, we're actually going to be going way below 2022. We should be sitting in the over 1 million homes on the market for sale, and we're less than half of that. Supply and demand, it is that big standard equation that we all know about, that when there are fewer items but the demand is still there, then that means that we're going to end up paying higher amounts for those things that we want, and there's just a shortage of them. So you can see that our inventory is just, even though we're slightly improving, we're kind of going to get to those peaks, and then we will tailor and taper off at the end of the year as we get into the end of summer. Now, something that's really interesting is the single family rent index year over year, percent change by price tier. So as you can see, we definitely saw in 2022, there was this massive spike in rent. We had multiple offers on our listings. Our landlords were ecstatic because it ended up being a bidding war for the most part for anybody who was trying to find a property to rent. This year, we are seeing definitely a decline in that. And as a result, we are seeing that, and part of this is the demand. The demand for rentals is definitely not as high as it was. One of the reasons is a consolidation of families or units living in a property. So whereas before everyone would kind of want to be on their own independently, if it meant renting, buying, whatever it was, these days we're seeing more people choosing to live together to save money. So as a result, that demand is going down. The rent rates are going down as a result because the demand is down. Now, hopefully this will result in some more listings coming onto the market for buyers. However, we're going to have to wait and see. What's happening in Southern California? Well, I always love to start out with interest rates. So didn't really look at that nationally, but just know that that interest rate is sitting at about 6.9% nationally. And these are the rates that our local lenders are currently offering, just a few of them. Again, please, if you are a buyer, shop around. If you need an introduction to a lender who we know is good, has excellent communication, can work with the realtors on both sides, and can get you as a buyer to the closing table, we'd be so honored to set up those introductions for you. So 30-year fix, we'll just kind of look at that one, a jumbo 30-year fix. Wells Fargo is offering below 6%. United American, they're a little higher than that, as is Movement Mortgage. And so they are our high end. They're sitting at a lot more than that. So again, a great reason why you need to shop around, because each borrower is very unique. And whatever we put out there for you right now may be different based on your personal lending situation. So let's have a look at specifically what's going on. We, as always, use a lot of the data that Stephen Thomas from Housing Reports on Housing provides for us. He certainly has his finger on the pulse of what's going on. This information is from last Thursday. California, just looking overall. Now, this is detached sales, so single family units. We're not looking at condos. We're just primarily single family units. And as you can see, this is where we are missing how many sales were missing. So April 2023, we're down 36% on where our kind of average norm has been. So you can see we've had spikes in the past. That was 2021. And we're sitting in this situation at the moment where we're missing homes for sale. So it's that lack of inventory. Southern California, it's a little worse than that statewide picture that we showed you. Why? A lot of it has to do with the fact that sellers or homeowners refinance and they're sitting with super low interest rates. So yes, the increase in the interest rates of those sitting, those high 5s, 6s, almost 7%, whereas many homeowners currently have an interest rate lower than that, their motivation to sell and then take on a higher mortgage rate is definitely influencing the decision to put their homes on the market. That, and because many people during COVID reinvested in their homes, did some upgrades, and they're kind of enjoying what they've done with their homes. Now, that does not mean that the demand is not there. So this is the demand year over year. So we definitely have demand. And this is a snapshot of the previous 30 days pending. So this means these are properties that have gone into escrow. So those are deals that are coming together, they're in the process. So that's why we look at that number. So we are down a little bit. And part of that is because we've just come out of a holiday week and an end of month. So we kind of see those numbers and they'll all kind of even out. But we're really not looking to see the types of numbers of properties going into escrows we've seen previously, and it's because we don't have enough properties. There are buyers, we just don't have enough properties for the buyers to go into escrow with. So yeah, if we're talking about pre-COVID levels, we were 55% higher. And I'm sure you remember those days when there were for sale signs and then an escrow signs everywhere. And they're very few and far between right now because we just don't have enough properties on the market. And on our team, we don't even get a chance to put a for sale sign up anymore. We often don't even need to. So you're not even going to see the signs for our listings. They're out on the internet, but we go into escrow so quickly that it's not even worth putting the sign up, and the sellers are perfectly okay with that. So new for sale signs. Again, if you have a look at that, we're basically missing in Southern California 50,000 plus sellers. That's what we're missing this year already. That's a lot of buyers who are just not able to get into that home that they're looking for. And as a result, what happens? It's supply and demand. Those prices are going up. Listing inventory, again, this is just another way of looking at where we are. We have been lower, obviously, and this is a quarterly kind of snapshot. So you'll see these are taken the 4th month, the 8th month, the 12th month. Well, it's not quite a quarter, but you can see that just our inventory is so low right now. Yeah, compared to where we were prior to COVID. And it's not just a COVID situation. This is something that's been happening over time. And yeah, that's going to continue to create this market environment in which the prices are going to keep rising. So new listings, this is the prediction. So the blue line is where we are currently this year, and then the dotted line is the prediction. So we're just going to keep slowly tapering off, and then we'll get towards the end of the year when nobody wants to move anyway. So the listings are not going to come on because sellers are, they've got the holidays and they've got family plans and they've got no intention of moving. So we may have hit our peak already. We should know pretty soon as far as number of properties on the market and those that have gone into escrow. Then it's just going to be fewer and fewer properties coming on. Our pre-COVID, again, another way of looking at this, we were 111% higher pre-COVID. So It's all about that. And again, that translates into that market, expected market time. How many days is it going to take from the minute you put that for sale sign in the yard to getting an accepted offer? And it was a little faster. It is slightly slowed down. So we're sitting at 50 days. Last year, we were about the same. We were right at that intersection with 2022 and 2020. And yeah, pre-COVID, we were 68 days. So 50 days, basically, you put the for sale sign in the yard, you will have an accepted offer. And in many of our neighborhoods where there's so little inventory, but the demand is high, there are still sufficient qualified buyers that you're going to go into escrow much faster than the 50 days. Remember, this is a Southern California average. So what happens? The other thing that could result in demand increasing even more is mortgage interest rates coming down. So we're starting to see now that the sevens are kind of behind us again for a little bit. As mortgage rates come down, we will see demand increasing because more buyers will be able to afford today's prices, and then those buyers are going to be back in the market. Again, we still have seasonal tapering off that will happen, but we will see a small surge in buyers out there in the market if those interest rates come down and affordability is a reality. So what is happening in some of our local cities? So we'll start off with Dana Point. Our median price of new listings, 2.599 million. Our median days on market, 35, so it's faster than the 50. So there's a good example because we have so little inventory. We have 47 homes on the market in Dana Point. And again, this is single family homes. We're not looking at multifamilies. And yeah, so we are still in a seller's market in Dana Point. Laguna Beach, median price of new listings, 4.5, days on market, 56. Even though it's a much higher price point market, it's still a fairly fast market. It is not a buyer's market. It is not even a balanced market. Our inventory, 106. So that is starting to see an increase, and it very much depends in Laguna Beach with the price points of the homes that are coming on the market. San Clemente, median price of new listings, 1.495, and median days on market, 42. So seller's market for sure. And we have 69 homes on the market in San Clemente. San Juan Capistrano, median price of new listings, 1.75. Our median days on market, 21. Again, San Juan Capistrano is just the winner out and out, and it has been for consistently the past couple of months. There's only 42 homes on the market, though. When they come onto the market, 21 days. 21 days, folks. That is not an awful lot of time if you've got your house on the market. So if you need to sell and you're in San Juan Capistrano, now is the time to put that home on the market. You have very little competition. The buyer demand is there, and you are going to go into escrow. And what happens in this market is typically multiple offers and bidding wars, and there's a really good chance that you're going to sell over asking. So why are home prices going up? It's all about that supply and demand. There's sufficient demand, and the supply is so low, it's just automatically going to keep pushing those prices up. Sellers, it's a great time to sell. It is an absolutely phenomenal time to sell. You will not be on the market too long. You will be able to get good buyers that come in, they're pre-approved, they're motivated, they're ready to go, and you should be able to sell your home pretty quickly. Again, providing your home is priced for location and condition, which you should know that is the secret formula to getting the price that you desire. So just as a reminder, as a real estate planner, we are definitely here to help you grow, protect, and transfer your wealth through real estate. We have a tool belt of tools to help you with that process. Love working on an asset performance test. If you own multiple properties, when last did you actually check to see that that property was performing to an optimum level? Or is it time to 1031 out of that property into another one, or perhaps into a different vehicle such as a DST. Also, think about if you have properties that you're leaving to your dependents. Think about number 10, the Family Feud Prevention Plan. Are you sure that your strategy is going to end up blessing your family rather than cursing them because nobody's on the same page, and all your hard work is then going to end up with them in litigation against each other and paying for attorneys and paying for court fees? So we would be honored to assist you with that process. Any question at all about the market, please, please, please rely on facts and data from people who are tracking what is going on in the market every single day. So someone like myself, so Jennifer Tim, real estate planner, the Welcome Home Global Group, and we look forward to seeing you next week.